Hello, good afternoon, and good evening to wherever you're watching us from. Welcome to Innovative Dentistry, one of your favorite programs. As you know, we're always coming to you live from TVN studios right here in Queenstown, Georgetown. Uh, we have become a part of your home by now, and we have been bringing information on oral hygiene and oral care. Again, joining me tonight in the studio is the man, and he is one who's been making this program possible, Dr. Pico. Dr. Pico, welcome again to Innovative Dentistry.
Thank you so much, sir. It's a
How
pleasure to be here every Wednesday.
wonderful. I've watched you grown over the last couple of months as we've been doing this show. I remember when you were first going to come onto the show, you were saying, Makash, my English, I'm worried about that. And last week you almost took over the show from me. You would have taken my job. You know, you've come a long way, and just like everything Guyanese, you have the resilience, you have this drive and this passion to be the best you can be, and in so doing, innovative dentistry is now part of your growth, or we are doing this together, you and Daybreak News. Um, it really is a pleasure to have someone of your caliber and one of the level of professionalism that you bring to your craft. As I told you, people have been calling me and asking me about Dr. Pico, and when they go to you, they call me back the next day and they said, "Man, I am blown away by this man's level of professionalism." So I have seen you grow from being you were always good at what you do, but now you have a different side to you now. To this corporate image out there now. So I'm sure when you're gonna be walking on the road soon, people are gonna be like, "Hey, isn't that Dr. Pico? Have you been stopped for autographs
No,
as yet?"
not so far, not so far.
Not so far. Oh, so Dr. Pico, it last week we were dealing with dental implants, and the week before that we were dealing with crowns and so on. Um, let's get right into it. What is the next step? What is the next stage?
So tonight show we are talking about a next type of treatment that the patients can get for different reasons. Maybe the patient cannot afford to pay for one or several implants, or maybe it is impossible to place implants because there is lack of bone once the one or more teeth are missing. Um, maybe there is another type of contraindication to wear implants. Maybe the patient, as I say, cannot afford to put on implants or even to do crown and bridge treatment. So we have another type of treatment that is a very popular treatment because since before the implantation era reached, since before the bridges and the reach into the healthcare market, people used to wear dentures to replace the missing teeth. That people use in Guyana, people used to call them false teeth.
False teeth, yes.
Exactly, yes. So that is another type of treatment that patients can get once they are in certain type of situation. So tonight show is about dentures, which is a generic word that involve a different type of denture, because when we say first teeth or dentures in general, we are talking about total dentures, partial dentures, upper or lower dentures, anterior or posterior dentures, okay, metal dentures, um, flexible dentures, so over dentures or dentures returned by implants. So there are different classifications on the dentures depending also on the materials. You have acrylic dentures, you have metal and acrylic dentures, or Valplas denture, which is a flexible type of dentures. So we will be talking about this type of treatment tonight, and also we will be talking about how to take care the denture, because it's something that I realize that not so many patients know how to care the dentures or what to do once you are wearing dentures, because apparently doctors out there are forgetting to speak with the patient about how to take care of the denture, what to do, what not to do, okay? Which is also important because we need to remember that we don't born with dentures attached in our body. It's a foreigner object that we are putting in the mouth to replace missing tooth. So, since the nature didn't give us this, it's not part of our body, so we need to take care or know, get to know how to care the dentures on ourselves. And there are some people sleeping with denture all the time for
Yes.
the whole life, and that is unhealthy. That can end up even in cancer, oral cancer. We will explain about that later on. So basically, it's about the show today tonight is about that.
I want to ask a question. I can't remember if it's in a movie or I read it in a book. Perhaps it was just fiction, and to add spice to fiction, they did this. But I remember reading or either seeing it in the movie. I'm not sure. This guy in he was wearing dentures, and he was wearing wooden teeth, wooden dentures. Obviously, this book was set back way back in the 1600s or something like that. In your studies and all that, I know it's kind of off, but I just want to know if where dentures came from and if we're arriving to this now. Did you read anywhere that dentures were actually made of wood?
Dentures are coming a long way with humanity because we, the human beings, we since the very beginning of our own nature is to try to fix problems. So once in the beginning of the human story, once you start losing your teeth, we try to
Replace.
to replace them. At the beginning, with our little resources, we don't have at the beginning, like for example, the acrylic. So people used to, at the beginning, take animal teeth or even uh, beings that are already dead,
Mm-hmm.
the teeth of the dead, to do some replacement by using this metal. You have to help me with the English. The This type of metal that was very common in the past centuries that is toxic, by the way. Lead, lead.
Lead.
That type of metal because is kind of flexible. Once it's easy to manage.
Yeah, malleable.
With low temperature. I mean, you don't have to reach it to high temperature to work on that metal.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a denture made of that with teeth from somebody else that somebody pick up on a grave and so? It was like that at the beginning.
Mm.
Okay, so but later on, something that unfortunately developed the humanity, this type of research was the two world war.
World War, yes.
Yes, the two of them. Because in that period of time, new materials. Remember that these countries, these big potents at that time, where they were fighting, trying to find out new ways to fight and to win their battles. So they, during the development of these two conflicts around the world, some scientific that developed, like for example, the acrylic was developed during that period of time. Also, the Teflon in a period of the time that the dentures were made in Teflon, which is not the proper material. But the acrylic, that is the material that is actually more um, popular material that the dentures are made with, was developed during the Second World War, I guess. And also the acrylic teeth and so on. So actually, we are using acrylic teeth to replace those missing teeth once we are talking about total or partial dentures. And also, sometimes you can use also porcelain or ceramic teeth to put in the denture. That has some indications and contraindications. So that is how we reach into this era. So we are not longer using animal pig teeth or
Yeah, I know,
or
I know.
dead people teeth and so, but we used to.
Nice, nice. So, okay, let me put this scenario to you now because this is how we're gonna do this tonight. Because this is the question that I'm sure everybody out there is going to be asking, because generally questions that I ask you are questions that I know will be coming from the public, because I am thinking like the public. I really don't do any research when you come here. I
Mm-hmm.
don't prepare any questions or anything like that, because when you come and tell me this, it is as if you're telling this to the public, and it's the public's response and to what you're saying and your response to what the public will be asking. So, scenario, I well, perhaps people don't have to be very old to lose their teeth, because if you don't care your teeth, you end up and you have to go back to where we started in the beginning, talking about oral hygiene and caring your teeth.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And well, if you undo though, you have some problems,
Mm-hmm.
which is you really can't smile big, because you cannot you can't do an implant. It's very expensive, and or crowns and so on, or for many other reasons, because of low bone density and thinning of the bone and so on. But a quick fix can be dentures.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say I've lost um, a, a couple of teeth at the back and my front teeth and so on, and I want to have this fixed. How do I go about this? I come to your clinic and I say, man, I need dentures. How are we going to do this?
So,
Take me through the stages.
yes, the patient has to reach into a dental office to get a checkup, and the patient will bring to the dentist what they need. Okay, so during the examination we will determine what is the best for the patient. So usually we start giving to the patient the most comfortable options, which are for example crown and bridges or implants. If the patient are missing some teeth, and if the patient is keeping some other teeth that will be holding the bridge work, or if the patient has enough bone and some missing teeth, not all the teeth, for example, we can go and tell to the patient, okay, you can apply for an implant if your bone is enough, or in the such a case that there is not enough bone, you can get a crown and bridge. But however, if the patient cannot afford this type of treatments and the patient need to replace those missing teeth, then the patient can apply, depending on the situation, uh, can apply to get partial or total dentures. Okay, so we will start then once we get the approval from the patient on our treatment plan, we will start working on that. Okay, so how the process start? We need to, after we make the checkup and we make the diagnosis of the case, we will present to the patient a treatment plan, and if the patient agree with that treatment plan, we will proceed with following that plan. That, let's go to say, hypothetically, that the patient need a total open and lower denture because the patient lost all the teeth long time ago, and we will go into that process. How we made the denture, we need to take an impression. I will start speaking about how it used to be. Still, some dentists nowadays are still doing impressions. Remember that we are in the digital era and we can go and scan them out, but not everybody has a scanner in their offices. But we then we take an impression and we prepare a gas model of that impression, which is a copy of whatever the patient has in the mouth.
So it's a bite impression.
It's an impression that the patient don't have to buy. We press the impression material that usually, if the patient is missing the whole set of teeth, we will take the impression with alginate.
Okay.
But we can also use silicone and so on. But the alginate is more popular. Once we have the copy of the mouth in our hands, we will start preparing a wax pattern that the patient has to go and bite over that pattern for us to register the bite, the relation of the lower jaw with the top jaw, and some point of reference for us to put on the teeth, the acrylic teeth that will be replacing those missing teeth. So Once we do the bike registration, we will send that our technician will be mounting the teeth over the wax, and the next step is to try on the denture. By trying the denture, once we show to the patient the shade of the teeth that we will use, because the patient has to agree with the shade. If the patient is a case that is missing the whole set of teeth, then some patients like to wear um, a denture with a very white teeth, because they believe that is giving the sensation of being clean, or white is like related to clean. But in some cases, because let's go to say that the Guyanese population is mostly dark skin,
Yeah, it's not natural.
and if you choose very white teeth, then it's looking too fake, because in a dark background,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
when you smile, if you see these extremely white teeth like snow white and too white, then it's looking too fake. And what we need to do once we are doing any rehabilitation is we need to try to match with the nature. So I don't really recommend to any of my patients that are with dark skin patients to get so white teeth, because even a yellow kind of teeth will look white in a dark
Indeed.
background. So we have colors to choose. So we will just follow the patient's instructions. If the patient wants the white teeth, I cannot fight against that. I will give
You'll
them that.
facilitate.
But it's much better when you follow our advice in that case. And if there is any remaining teeth in the mouth, will be much better, because we will just select a shade that will match with those remaining teeth, and that will facilitate a lot our job. Because of course will look weird if you choose a very white tooth having some other teeth that are not matching in color.
Indeed, indeed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So once we do the trial, the patient agree of how the denture is looking or will look, because the trial will be done in wax. Whatever we put in the mouth is wax holding the teeth. The teeth is the only real thing, and the rest is wax. That once the technician finish with the processing the denture, that wax we will change that wax for acrylic or flexible material, depending on what we choose to make the denture with. And once the denture is finished, we will install the denture and check that everything is correct, the technical parameters and so, and the aesthetic parameters, and that the patient is feeling comfortable with that type of dentures. However, it's not the end, because once you deliver the denture, that is not the end of the process, because this is a new type of treatment that the patient is wearing, and sometimes the patient will feel uncomfortable with those dentures. Sometimes it's a little long, sometimes will cause some bruising, sometimes the teeth are not, the upper and the lower are not matching correctly. We need to do some minor corrections. So maybe the patient will need to come back 2 or 3 times till the denture fit well. So delivering a denture is not the end of the process. Sometimes the patient has to come 1, 2, or 3 times.
So I've seen before. There's a gentleman who had to get dentures. He had some missing teeth at the back lower, I think, and he put this thing on, and he couldn't use it because it was so painful for him. It was, he was struggling. He had to take it out. He was bleeding and all that, and that had to have been because there was the impression may have not have been done properly, or is it that his mouth is not accustomed to this hard material against his gum, which is really soft. What causes that, and how do we deal with
That
that?
that usually happens because the patient will feel a minor discomfort. If the denture is too uncomfortable, something is wrong there. So the denture will be maybe at the beginning bruising, or the teeth will be clashing a little, because
It has to get accustomed.
need some adjustment. But the adjustment cannot be so much that you will need to file some more the denture, because then that means that the design was not the proper design. Because during the process there is a part in which we need to design the denture first. The denture has to follow some uh, uh, protocols to get a nice and comfortable
To fit in,
denture
yeah.
to fit properly. Okay, you have to design. You have to do some cuts on the design of the base of the denture, so some the frenulums and muscular insertions will not interfere with the denture. Because if you extend too much the denture's um the muscular insertions near
Mm-hmm.
to the denture will remove the denture, or the denture will cut those muscular areas, causing a lot of discomfort, causing bleedings, and causing some lesions that are related to dentures installation. So you have to design properly so the patient will not feel so uncomfortable at the end of the process.
Okay, great. So again, guys, thank you for joining in tonight. As usual, we're coming to you live from TBN Studios right here in Queenstown. This program is coming to you compliments of Innovative Dental Care, and Innovative Dental Care is located on the railway embankment. It's 3 buildings down off UG Road if you're going in the direction of Mahaika or Industry. It's on your right hand side if you're going in that direction. Big 3-story gray building has the big sign in front, and you'll meet Dr. Pico there. Also, you can get him on the numbers that are running at the bottom of the screen, and on WhatsApp you can call for an appointment also. So now that we know that what it entails to get a denture and how you have it fitted, and we would have spoken initially about how dentures started and what type of dentures were available. Obviously, you said they were um, lead was being used, and they've used human dead people teeth. They would try to dumb fit it in, and even animal teeth as replacement. We have come a long way. Um, Yet, some people may still want to see, oh, really, cow. Let me try a cow teeth in my mouth, see how that works. But so when we need dentures now, you come into the office. This is what it is. What are the types of dentures that are
Yes.
available, and what determines which denture is best for someone, if there is anything that will determine a determining factor, what will be best.
Yes, there are available some types of dentures. Like, for example, the most popular type of dentures are the acrylic dentures. And depending on how many missing teeth are, if you are missing the whole set of teeth, you will get a total denture. Can be a total top and a partial bottom, depending on the condition, or uh, just a total upper and bottom. Okay, depending on the condition. Also, we have the denture made in Valplas, which is a flexible denture. Some people call this type of dentures like a temporary type of denture, because the Valplas denture is flexible and very comfortable.
Okay.
Uh, so, but it's not so um, uh, it's not so good to make a total denture made in Valplas. Okay, it's much better to get an acrylic denture once you are going to get a total denture. So some people are using the Valplas denture like a transition to get later a partial or total acrylic denture. So also there are some another type of dentures which are the over dentures. That those type of dentures are made once you make to remain some teeth in the mouth. Some teeth that will be remaining in the mouth to put the denture over those teeth. So that is why the name of over denture. So what we can see here, for example, is a total denture made in acrylic. People can see our uh, Viewers can see here a total denture,
Okay.
upper
We have
and lower.
there's a connection problem. So tell me about it.
Okay, yes. So as I say, depending on the condition, you can make you can select the dentures to be made with acrylic or with a flexible material that people is known like Balplast. Also, you can some teeth can remain, and we can use those teeth to make an overdenture. So by doing that, we will increase the retention of those dentures because one of the problems with these total dentures, for example, is the problem with retention. The patient, mostly on the bottom teeth, the patient will not feel comfortable with the lower denture because the presence of the tongue at the back or some muscles or some the level of the bone will not make this type of denture too comfortable to wear. So people complain a lot that sometimes the dentures are jumping out of the basement because there is not enough bone to hold the denture. So in those cases, if there are some remaining teeth, we can cut those teeth and do root canals and keep those teeth as a retention for example, a lower denture. By doing so, we will make those dentures more comfortable to wear for our patients. Also, we have here, what we are seeing here is a Valplas denture, partial denture, okay? And
Go back to the first one again. Let's.
uh-huh,
Yeah. So that's one. That one is
this is a total upper and lower denture made in acrylic.
great.
Okay, this is for a patient that lost uh, the the whole set of teeth and need this type of denture upper and lower total denture.
Okay.
So here we can see this person pressing this denture, and we can deform this denture because this denture is made in Valplas, which is a flexible material. This type of dentures are mostly used in cases of uh, people missing partially the teeth and are very much aesthetic because as we can see here, these little extensions are like plastic claps that are holding the denture, giving retention, and since are made in this material, which is pink, it's easy for to hide these claps. So are very aesthetic type of dentures, and also since the material is flexible, also the dentures are very much comfortable for the patients. And here we see a total denture upper in this case that is using as a retention implants. Remember that we can use implants also to not only to do bridges, also
For
for
dentures.
dentures.
Yes.
In cases in which the patient will feel more comfortable wearing this type of total denture, but in this case, since the retention is done by implants, you don't have to have this long flank or side of extended to get retention. So this type of course is very much comfortable and is looking very natural as we can see here. So this is the type of um, dentures supported by implants. We can see here on the left side of the screen a total denture, which is there is no other way of retention other than the extension that the denture can take to get the proper retention. And as I said at the beginning, some of our patients complain a lot about the lower denture because it's far away, very uncomfortable, since the tongue is at the back and the lips and pressure, and so the denture can jump out of the alveolar ridge and fall even sometimes, or the patient will feel uncomfortable eating some type of food since the lower denture is less retentive than the top denture, because of course on top we have the palate, and the upper denture will cover that area, getting more retention than the lower denture. So in this case, mostly for the lower denture, if it's possible, what we can do sometimes is to uh, insert 2 or 4 implants to help
To retain.
the retention to retain this type of tension. The retention can be done by clips, by magnets, okay? In this case, or also by using a bar with some clips, as we can see in this image here, we can retain the lower denture mostly. Also, and also the top, but mostly for the lower, which is the one that is giving some trouble sometimes. And also we can do the retention by screwing the denture. So we will set the implants in the bone and screw the denture to those implants, which is very much comfortable, because the other type of dentures, you can remove that denture by using a little force. But however, the denture that is screwed in, you cannot remove that denture because it will be screwed in the mouth.
Okay.
Okay.
I I'm looking at this thing here, and I remember this is a little joke, right? You ever had chicken patties here in Guyana?
Uh-huh.
Chicken patties? You know, it's a little scallop around the end.
Mm-hmm.
So they had this lady used to make chicken patties, and when she making chicken patties, she wanted to get an exact shape. So she take out your false teeth, and she make the
Oh,
the impression right to be wrong. You understand? So you got this perfect, you know.
but I was seeing a video of that.
You saw a video of that.
Yeah, the other
So
day
it's a
in
possibility then.
social media. Oh my god, but that is so antigenic.
And the other thing is, I remember in this lady now that was singing at the karaoke, and
Uh-huh.
she tried to, I think it was a Whitney Houston, she said, and the top denture fell out. And, you know, she had to catch it in her hand and all of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So perhaps this retaining factors that you're showing here
Mm-hmm.
would be best if you don't want to be in an embarrassing situation. I mean, it's not a joke. It's not a joke. Dentures is no joke. But
Totally. Mm-hmm.
at the same time, you know, I mean, we look at the funny side of things sometimes because,
Yeah,
you
yeah, we
know,
need
for our
to.
viewers and all that,
Mm-hmm.
to understand that, you know, it's not all that serious. But while dentures is no joke, you have to understand. People have to understand it. You have to take something that will be best suited for you and comfortable, but at the same time, you don't want to be in a position where you're doing something, you go out to dinner and your denture fall out. I mean, as I said, it's not a joking matter or anything to laugh about, but it can result in a very embarrassing situation, especially if you're out with people and all of that. So the retainance factor is very important, and that is why I'm like it. I like the fact that you're saying that all of these things are possible. My question to you again: of the 4 different types of dentures that you showed just now, especially when it comes to the retainers, you offer those services,
Yes, of course.
all 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great.
So depending on the condition, depending on the age and so, or also the budget that the patient has, because once you are going to combine denture with implants, that type of treatment is more expensive than just a total denture. Okay, so also once you have some teeth in your mouth, we can use those teeth to make the denture more retentive. Like for example, if you are going to do just an acrylic denture, if you are going to do like a Balplast denture, the one that I showed before, that the Balplast denture can use those teeth to get more retention. But also there is the possibility of for the patient to receive a denture that is combining metal and acrylic also, which is the one that we can see here. This set of cases now, I made these cases at my office. So as we can see here, this is a type of denture that is combining a metal with acrylic. The acrylic part will be replacing the missing set of teeth, and also the gum that that change the level once the teeth are missing. And as the viewers can see at the back, these are some special claps that are designed. This type of dentures is coming with a design. We need to design this denture for the patient. We need to use a special appliance to make this design, to make these claps here to go into retentive areas on the molars, for example, in this case, so the denture will not fall under certain forces. So with this type of denture, the patient can be a little more confident that the denture will not fall just like that. It's removable. It's not a fixed type of denture. The patient, by doing certain force, will remove the denture, but the denture will not fall just like that by once the patient is laughing or eating or stuff like that, because the denture will be designed to stay in the mouth under certain forces because of this type of claps. There is a clasp here that will be acting like in this case, what I am showing here. This clap will be acting like a retentive clap, and this one here will be giving an opposition to this one here.
To keep it in place.
Exactly, exactly. So the same thing here, and these parts here are like stoppers. This part here will avoid for the denture to go more in. Okay.
Okay.
So we call that occlusal support, because this part here will keep the rest of the parts in place in the same level, same position, and at the same time, the denture will not go more in, bothering the gum and so. Okay. So these type of dentures are more nice to wear and more comfortable and confident for the patients. Okay.
2 questions here
Yes,
quickly.
sir.
What type of metal is
This is
being used
this
there?
is a alloy of
Alloy.
yes,
Okay.
chrome and cobalt and some other metals involved. Everything is healthy. It will not do or cause any type of adverse reaction or allergies.
Okay, great.
Okay.
And obviously this is a patient that would have lost in all their incisors, bicuspids, and some premolars.
This is exactly. You know.
I'm learning. I'm learning.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
learning.
The patient lost the canines, incisors, and premolars.
Right.
Okay. And this is the case in place. Okay.
So this is the actual.
The actual case in place.
Wow.
Okay. So so as the public can see here, the claps are going into some positions, keeping the denture in place. So this patient can um, do some type of activities without losing or
It wouldn't fall out.
the denture will not fall out as easy as a partial denture without this type of special claps.
All right. Another question. If, let's say, I eat some kind of fruit, guava. Have you had guava since you're here?
Yeah, of course.
Right. So guava has seed, and one of the seed gets stuck in your teeth. That thing is annoying. You're feeling it in your teeth, or anything that you eat, anything, and something is in your teeth. It feels annoying. That small, and it feels annoying. You're irritable and all that. You just want to get this thing out. You have to get it out. So when you have something like this in your mouth, obviously this is foreign to your to your mouth. This is not natural. And how long does it take how long does it take for someone to get accustomed to having something like this in your mouth? Because the first thing you put there, you're gonna feel funny. It's touching your mouth inside it. Your tongue is going there. Your tongue is gonna try to force out. Everything's gonna try to expel that because it's foreign. Generally, how long does it take someone to get accustomed to this?
That depends on the level of tolerance of the patient. Sometimes patients that some patients are wearing dentures since they are very young. So as the time pass by, if the patient is not taking care the remaining teeth, sometimes the patient will go from using a
Partial
partial denture
to full.
straight to use a full total upper and lower denture. So those type of patients that are previous experience of wearing dentures will feel not so uncomfortable. However, if a person that never wear dentures before is going into this type of treatment will feel certain level of discomfort, mostly wearing the lower denture because of all the facts that I already mentioned. So sometimes the patient has to put a little effort wearing this type of treatments because it's kind of uncomfortable. Once the dentures are in place and we prove that the dentures are not bruising or cutting or hurting the mucosa or pressing too much the teeth, then the rest of the process belongs to the patient. Wearing the denture nighttime, sleeping with the denture at the beginning. This is also important to say. For the body to get accustomed to this treatment at the beginning, just at the beginning, you have to sleep with dentures.
Okay.
So your brain will get accustomed to this object in your mouth. Okay? And once you get accustomed to that, because at the very beginning, the patient will be producing a lot of saliva because the brain is taking this
It's a foreign object.
as a food in the mouth because it's something that is in the mouth. So the patient at the beginning will be producing a lot of saliva. The patient also will have a funny way to speak because the tongue will not be getting the right position to pronounce some type of word. So at the beginning, the patient will speak a little funny. So what we do, we say to the patient, okay, you have to take a newspaper and
And read
read
louder.
loud that in your room and so to um, get back the way that you
Yeah. Proper speech patterns.
exactly. Okay, but even by sleeping with the denture for 2 3 days, at the very next day the patient will be talking as normal because it's just a brain process to put the tongue in another position and so on. And it's something funny that then the patient cannot speak properly
Without
without
it.
the dentures.
Wow. Wow.
So because it's just
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
it's a brain process. Okay.
Amazing. Wow. All right. So
So
you have this here.
uh-huh. So we have this here. Let me see the next case, which is very much interested this type of case here. Okay. So in this case here, as the patient the viewers can see, this patient here has a surgery because of a tumor. So the patient lost the whole half of the upper palate. Okay?
Okay.
And only on the opposite side, some molars uh, remain. So we need to build up this type of a special partial denture with this type of retention here. For this case particularly, because there is no, on the other half of this denture, there is no palate to get any retention.
Okay.
So it's a very difficult case. So the retention in this case will be done by the other half in which some molars and teeth are remaining. So that is why this kind of special design in this type of denture. That the end of the the denture is like this. This half here, there is nothing here, just a soft tissue after the patient, because of a tumor, lost half of the palate. So there is nothing here. This on the opposite side is just a soft tissue. There is no bone there
Yes.
because
of the tumor.
the tumor.
They had to remove all of that.
The surgeon determined to remove the bone and so. Okay, so the denture is using the rest of the molars and teeth for retention, and this is the final result in this case. This is a case that was done in our office. So you see how for example this type of patient cannot wear implants on the opposite side because there is no bone, and we need to necessarily wear this type of partial denture. Okay. So because depending on the case, we will determine which type of denture is suitable for the patient.
Fantastic. Well, that is a lot about dentures. That I tell you, in Guyana here we grew up. When I grew up and I saw both my grandparents, right? Yeah, were wearing dentures. My grandfather had a denture with the same wire
Mm-hmm.
and so on. That would, you know, it would be hooked, and that's in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously things would have changed from then to now. But at nights, I used to see them take out this denture and put it in a glass or a cup of water,
Mm-hmm.
regular water, I think, and they would leave it overnight. Next morning, they will take it out, and you know, one of the good things with that is that they had a chance to brush it with, you know, they can turn it around and brush it and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the right care?
Yes, of course, of course. That is something important that I was saying at the beginning. How to take care the denture and yourself once you are wearing dentures, because I found that not everybody is talking about this important topic, which is once the denture is in place, doesn't matter if it's a high quality denture, if you don't teach to the patient how to take care of the denture and themselves, then we can say that the work is half done because the patient has a long way at front to wear the denture in a proper way that will not be harmful for the patient. Because one of the things that we found is that some patients are sleeping with the denture all the time, and that is not properly, that is not healthy at all. We need to remember that these dentures are foreign objects in our body, and we need to give the opportunity to the mucosa to rest nighttime. So that is why, even if you are wearing partial dentures, nighttime you have to remove the denture, brush the denture, and put the denture in a little container with water. You cannot leave the denture outside to get dry because this acrylic material is a material that is hydrophilic, meaning in contact with the water,
It gets.
it get wet, moisturized. And if you leave the acrylic outside, then the acrylic will get dry, and the process, the constant process to get wet and dry, will end in fracturing and breaking the acrylic. So that is why once the acrylic is in contact with water, has to be in contact with water all the time. Once you remove your denture, nighttime, you brush that denture. You don't put the denture directly into a cup of water or container without brushing the denture because, as we say since the very beginning, we spoke about bacteria
Mm-hmm.
living in our mouth. So bacteria will be living in the denture as well, bacteria and fungus. Okay, so we need to brush the denture and put the denture in this container. We can find um, this type of tablets that you can put inside that will be releasing some kind of chemicals
Mm-hmm.
to kill bacteria and to also remove the tartar from the denture because the denture can also get tartar. Tartar are some kind of
Build-ups.
buildups of hard material
Mm-hmm.
over the denture in between the teeth and even inside. So by using this type of special tablets, that chemicals will kill bacteria and also remove the tartar. Okay, so this is the way to take care of the denture. We need to brush the denture with our toothbrush and toothpaste. Okay, and if some teeth remain in the mouth, we cannot the patient cannot brush the teeth with the denture in. The steps will be removing the patient has to remove the denture, brush the denture inside and out over the sink. We cannot do that outside of the sink because in the case of acrylic denture, which is a hard material, if the denture falls from a long distance, the acrylic will break.
Okay, if it
Uh,
hits the floor, the tile, or whatever.
exactly. So that is
Mm-hmm.
why you have to brush that denture over the sink. So if the denture slide from the patient mouth hands will fall into the sink from a short distance, so the acrylic will not break. Okay. So we brush the denture, we finish with that, and then the patient has to go and brush the remaining teeth if that is the case. If the patient don't has any remaining tooth, anyway, the patient has to brush the tongue and um, hand
It's like a
but
gauze.
using like a gauze or a piece of cloth to remove or to clean up the palate or the alveolar ring in which the denture is because we
Mm-hmm.
need to remove all that cells that are under the denture that cannot fall by themselves because the denture is a barrier that is in there. So
Indeed.
we need to do that as well. The patient has to do that. So once that process finish, you put your denture in the container. Can be a container. We have those containers at the office. So every time that the patient
Special containers.
it's a square container that has to have water inside. We close the container and that's it. Or if the patient don't have that container, in a glass of water. Okay, that is applicable to any type of denture. And also, it is very much important that the patient cannot, the patient, because this happens sometimes, cannot boil the denture. Some patients, because they want to
Sterilize.
sterilize the denture and so, they put the denture to boil or inside of warm water
Hot water.
or warm. So this type of practice will damage the material. The acrylic and the valplast are thermoplastic material.
And they'll get
So-
warped.
Exactly. They will expand or even melt. So patient cannot boil or wash the denture with hot or warm water. Okay.
But let's say I get a little. So I'm getting a little. I'm thinking ahead now. Well, I think that I'm thinking ahead, and I'm saying, well, if I put this in water, just water. But if I put it in, let's say I'm thinking, oh well, it might be better for me to put this thing in
Bleach, for example.
not bleach or no, not bleach because bleach will mess up your mouth. But even mouthwash. So what if I fill this thing up with mouthwash now, and I put it in mouthwash and leave it overnight in mouthwash, or I put some mouthwash in the water? And the reason I'm asking is because I'm thinking about all the different types of scenarios that people may want to employ. And is it right? Is it good practice, or is it absolutely bad?
About that, you can put a little amount of mouthwash in the water. The mouthwash, as we spoke some programs before,
Yes.
has some type of antibacterial chemicals that will be killing the bacteria in there. But you cannot put the denture directly into pure mouthwash. The mouthwash usually is coming with some kind of colors to make the product more nice for people. So that type of color can go in the acrylic and mess the pink like color of the acrylic and mess up that color. So you cannot use pure mouthwash. You have to dissolve or dilute the mouthwash in water, so you can get put the denture in that.
Next you end up with green or blue teeth and have it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I
At the end, not at the very beginning, but by repeating that all the
yes,
time,
the process, yeah.
the denture will get some type of blue, like or green, depending on the color of the mouthwash.
Brilliant. We have about 5 minutes more left in this program, and before we go, I want to say good night to some of our viewers who are joining us here. We have Shanti Rampadarat, Elizabeth Prasad, Jenny Rohit, Debbie Sanasi, Welzin, Narlene Ram, Farzina Ibrahim, Nina Desant, Devika, and Arjun Jawahir, who is always watching us. These are people who are watching us all the time. We have about 5 minutes more to go on this program. Are dentures affordable?
Yes, the price of the dentures are not so high.
Okay.
And you can even get temporary dentures made with cold cure acrylic, which will last long, meaning the period of time that maybe the patient needs to get a proper type of denture. I need to mention that the cold cure acrylic is not the right material to make a denture, because this type of material, the cold cure, will change later the color and will also produce some type of odor.
Okay.
And that is not proper for the patient, because the odor of that acrylic and the change of the color to an orange, like, will not be pink all the time, is not aesthetic and healthy as well. So whenever the patient gets a denture made with caulk or acrylic is a temporary solution because are really cheap once you do that type of caulk or
Okay. So,
acrylic
all right.
denture.
What the other thing I want to ask you is, let's say I come into your office tomorrow morning. You do all the tests, you do everything. I'm a perfect candidate for dentures. You take the impressions. We decide this is the one I want. I want, let's say, the flexible dentures, because that seems kind of cool. You know, I want those. It's partial bottom only, and both sides. And you take the impression, and I said, this is the one I want. How long after that can I be able to uplift and start wearing dentures?
Depending on the type of denture, because for example, total dentures will take a little bit long because it's more work
About how long?
at the dental lab. That will take between 5 to 7 days.
Days.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
I thought you were going to tell me weeks.
No. 5 to 7 days. Now, if the patient decides to make a metal uh, denture, meaning the type of partial metal denture combining acrylic and metal,
Yeah.
that is taking a little bit longer because the denture has to go into the process is take an impression, design the metal frame that will be holding the acrylic and the teeth as well. Design that, prepare that metal frame, okay? Try on the metal frame, do the bite registration, do the trial of the metal frame with the teeth in the mouth, and then after that, we will be finishing the metal denture. That process will take between 15 to 20 days.
Fantastic. Well, I like that. Dr. Pico, it's always a pleasure. I always ended up here. I'm learning so much that I'm even telling you a few things about this here now. And it's good because if I'm learning this, and I really don't do any research and all this, because I want to come fresh to the program every time, not knowing what I know. We're going to talk about dentures, but then in my mind, I'm saying if I research, I may do the public an injustice by coming with information that I already know at hand. So I'm coming here without any information because I want you to tell me things that I know, that as I'm thinking like what the public will be asking. And it's always a pleasure because you've never missed a beat in answering those questions. And I again, as we come down to program time tonight, I want to say thank you again. You've been more than brilliant, I would say, every time we've done this. And it's always a pleasure. And I look forward again to seeing you next week, same time, right here on TBN. All right,
Thank you so
Dr.
much, sir.
Pico.
Thank you so much. A pleasure to be here.
Yes, indeed. So, guys, thank you once again for joining us tonight. It was most informative. We spoke about dentures. You can go back. You can watch this program. You can watch our previous programs also. Share it with your friends and family, and let them know that there is a dental lab in Ghana that is doing all of this. Or you can also refer to your whichever dental clinic or so is located in your area. Refer to them. I always say to you, make sure that you ask for certificates of competence, especially in areas of surgery and so on, because you want to make sure that people know what they're doing and they don't put you at risk, whatever risk that may be, because at times it can be severe. So once again, thank you so much for joining us. Remember to take care of those who are not taking care of others, and look out for those who are not looking out for you. So guys, take care and ciao for now.